Alright everybody, what's going on? It's Jack and welcome back to another video. Got some couple gameplays from the recent live stream. I think it was either on Saturday or Sunday. So in this wonderful mode called the Trench Mosh Pit, which is basically on a new gunfight map, and you're basically playing regular modes like Team Deathmatch, Domination, Kill Confirmed, and Grind. So it is a lot of fun. It's definitely a lot of fun. It's a lot more faster pace, including like things like taking the flags and Domination, which happen a lot faster. So basically, this game mode here just actually encourages rushing. Infinity Ward finally gave us a gem, and I know I talked about it recently in one of my recent videos. But for those of you guys that haven't given this game mode a shot because you're utterly, like upset with Modern Warfare or whatnot, or you just have uninstalled the game, I would say like reinstall the game and just give this game mode a shot and see how you like it. Hopefully it sticks around, and hopefully they take it a step further to where they will rotate the gunfight maps. Because the gunfight maps, I mean, I know some of you guys out there that are very, very passive players that like games like Siege and want to play Siege in this game or whatnot, which definitely seems to be the design decision of this game in terms of everything else. For those of you guys that are rushers, actually, the gunfight maps actually are basically the best maps in the game. So I would really like to see them rotate the gunfight maps in this game mode. I think that would be an absolute treat, and I absolutely love this game mode. So if you haven't tried it, give it a shot. I highly recommend it. So let's get on with the nitty-gritty of the conversation at hand today. So now, Activision, back when they did their quarterly podcast to where they are legally obligated to basically share their financial success with their recent title and the microtransactions and everything in between. During that podcast, a couple months ago or a month and a half ago or however long it was, they basically mentioned, I was actually in my car listening to that shit on my phone on my way from work to home or something like that. And I could definitely tell you that they are very, very clever, and they like to sneak in lies in their truths or vice versa. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you is they mentioned that Call of Duty 2020 is looking great and is on track for a 2020 release, right? Well, now there have been rumors about this, there have been rumors and leaks of people that have been right so far, whether it's a long sensation, whether it's a gaming revolution or whatnot, that are basically talking about the fact that, well, things like, for instance, how we might not get a beta due to the extraordinary delay, or how we might not get a reveal until August. And by the way, there's a handful of you guys that thought I was absolutely fucking crazy when I made a video talking about how there might not be a beta. You guys have to remember, back in the day, and before we started getting betas, which was Black Ops 3, Black Ops 3 was the first time when we started getting betas, if memory serves correctly, right? So before that time, we never got betas, ever. So the thing is, like, what's to stop that from happening again? It's not like they're obligated legally to give us a beta. I mean, there's so many games out there. I mean, I know betas and even alphas to an extent are like the new norm now, but it's not like an it's not like a legal obligation to where they actually have to do it, or else they're going to basically like pay the price or anything like that. It doesn't work like that. They could take things away like crossplay and beta and everything in between if they wanted to. If they wanted to be dicks, they could absolutely fucking do it. Like, they could stop, like right now what they could do is they could disable Warzone if they want. Obviously it's making them so much money, but if they wanted to, they can just disable Warzone and be like, hey, you guys got to pay a monthly price, or you got to pay for this now. The Warzone was going to be free to play for like an X amount of months, and then now if you guys want to keep playing this game, you guys have to pay a fee or something like that. If they wanted to, they could do it. And guess what? They would probably get away with it, because as some other Call of Duty YouTubers have said as well, and I'm paraphrasing here, they've got us by the you-know-what. In my case, I like to curse, and I'm not monetized on here, so I don't give a flying fuck. So I'm going to say they've got us by the balls. They've got us by the pussy. They've got us from simply everything. I mean, myself included. I am a perfect example of this. You know why? Because I originally didn't purchase this game the first two days or so after release. I did not purchase this game. I knew it was going to be shit. The beta was just absolute garbage. And I knew that, and just by looking at the game and its release and stuff like that, I was like, this isn't good. But at the same time, I had my hopes up, and I was like, hey, sooner or later it's going to get better, and they are going to basically released something that's going to be a lot more playable, and lo and behold, it happened to be 9 months after or whatnot in the form of this game here, which, by the way, I suggested to them back months ago, like after the beta, back when I was wearing the mask. I mean, I'm sure I've mentioned it before. It was basically like a vlog style video, and I'm like, hey, give us regular modes in gunfight maps and make it like 3v3 or 4v4 or something like that. And lo and behold, that's what we're getting. And hopefully they, like I said, hopefully they'll rotate the maps, because the gunfight maps are actually really good, and they're rusher friendly, and the fact that it encourages you also to play the OBJ, as you can see in this mode, I'm getting a really high win-loss ratio despite the skill-based matchmaking and everything in between, because if I'm not able to slay for whatever reason because I'm just having a shitty game or if something's going on, I can play the OBJ really hard, and I can actually carry my teams to victory. The only thing that makes it really difficult is when you have a full team, a full 3-man squad, to where they communicate like extraordinarily well, and they're able to know where you are every time because of callouts. I mean, it's simple as that. But for the most part, though, this game mode, again, I'm going to tell you guys, if you haven't given it a shot, at least give it one shot. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's definitely better than the rest of the maps in the game, as well as the design decisions in the game. So, but anyway, going back on topic, so let us basically start embracing the anything could happen with Call of Duty thing right now more than ever, because we really might have to wait till 2021 to get a full game. Like, for instance, the game could release in 2020, but we only get campaign. We won't get multiplayer until 2021. Campaign itself is always ready. To quote somebody else again, campaign is always ready. It's the multiplayer that ends up being the problem. And like everybody is saying, at least everybody that I've seen has been saying how wonderful the Modern Warfare campaign is. And I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it whatsoever. And despite the fact that it's only like, 5 hours long or whatnot, what we got in the campaign, according to them, was very solid. And pretty much in every single Call of Duty, at least that I've played from the campaigns, I haven't played all of them, but I've played most of them in terms of campaigns, I can tell you. Call of Duty campaigns are pretty solid. They just don't have much replay value, and they're really short, but they're short and sweet. So again, campaign, we could definitely get. Multiplayer, not so simple. Zombies is that somewhat in between. So I don't know. We may not get the entirety of the game until 2021. So, and Activision will in some way, shape, or form find a way to get even people that are strictly multiplayer guys like myself to somehow purchase the game at 2020. I don't know. Maybe it's because they'll offer some sort of special, and then by the time 2021 rolls around, if you haven't purchased it, you're probably going to have to pay more or something like that. I mean, you never know, man. It's all business. It's all money. And that's what makes this fucking thing so irritating, really. I mean, the design decisions of this game, like the safe spaces and the doors, for instance, are all based about, it's all money based. I mean, some of the best players in the world out there, like, I'm not one of the best players in the world. I'm a pretty good pub stomper, but I'm definitely far from the best players in the world. You know, I've been watching, I just became aware of like one or two guys that I never watched that much before, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. And, you know, granted, they play on PC and they're master and keyboard users or whatnot, but it's the good players, whether you are, you know, an average tier pub stomper, or whether you are one of the best pub stompers in the world in whatever platform you play on, we're the ones that actually give the casual community a frustrating experience with the game, because we know what the fuck we're doing and they don't. Now, granted, there are so many more casuals than there are sweats or tryhards or veterans, so to speak, right? There are so many more casuals. We're outnumbered. So, but the thing is that we have this effect to where a lot of players, I mean, even good players are weak as well. I mean, how many good players get agitated so easily to where they say, fuck this, I'm out, or where they quit games, or where they rage, or where they send you hate mail or messages telling you how much you suck or whatnot, and do all this other shit. So, I mean, like, they want people to stay and play the game so that way they could buy microtransactions, or so that way they can so that way they could play the free to game portion. I mean, because before Warzone was released, for instance, let's just say this game had a better design and people were pub stomping like usual, right? There was no skill-based matchmaking, and the maps were better. Dead Silence was a perk. The spawns were better. Streaks were a little bit better. Let's say all that was implemented, right? Which could be implemented till this day, like a patch, basically, right? And let's say the skill-based matchmaking patent didn't exist and all that kind of stuff, right? And we got the kind of Call of Duty that this game at least was potentially slated to be, or could have been, right? So those casual players are not going to have a good time getting shit on by players like you and me that might be watching this video. They're just not. And we ruin that, and basically they've created the game this way with safe spaces and doors and shit, as well as the refusal to add dead silence, the crazy-ass spawns, the skill-based matchmaking patent, the skill-based matchmaking itself, and everything in between to protect those players, because those are the ones that are going to make those purchases. Those are the ones that are going to, possibly buy microtransactions. Those are the ones that are going to be obsessed with Warzone, which Battle Royale, I mean... And that's the way the cookie crumbles, man. I mean, people are very easy to quit out because they are getting their asses handed to them. Most people want shortcuts. They don't want to get better like back in the day before all this shit was taking place. Like those of us that are good today and that got good years ago, we never got held by the hand, but that's not the way it is. I mean, people want shortcuts nowadays. Most people are weak mentally, and Activision is taking advantage of that. And they're also taking advantage of us as well. I mean, they've literally got us by the balls, man. So, and they want as much control as possible. They don't want their consumers to have control. They want to have control. So, and that's the way it's been for quite a while. And this is something that we have to basically start getting a grip on and realizing it and somehow, I don't know how, I don't, somehow make a change. But the thing is, we can't make a change because the majority of the players don't know any better, because they're casuals, they're little kids or whatnot. That are gonna take mommy and daddy's credit card or whatnot, $10 here, $10 there, and purchase microtransactions that are basically like, for me and you, are basically like not worth a damn penny. But to little kids, it's worth everything. They like that shit, even though it makes no difference in gameplay or whatnot. They like that shit. Or if you put a price tag on a gun or whatnot, things like that. So we have to get, guys, this is the reality of today. And the game itself, like the multiplayer portion or a portion of the game, or even the entire game, may very well get delayed until 2021. And we may not get the game in a way that we used to get it before. Like if we thought that Call of Duty itself was incomplete on release, 33. This next game coming up could very well be the worst in terms of that aspect. And the only way I could see a way out for them is to make the entire fucking game free to play. But you guys know how Activision does that shit. And if they make the entire game free to play, guess what's going to happen? It's going to be loaded with microtransactions. And they're going to do that like Black Ops 4 if they wanted to. So anyway, that's all I got for this one, guys. Let me know down in the comment section what you think. This is Jack, signing off.